It is often more efficient to use the first language in a second language classroom, to convey content, to explain grammar, to provide a shortcut for giving instructions and explanations, to build on rather than denying existing understanding, to interlink home and school languages, to increase learning, and to create more authentic and natural situations that reflect the world outside the classroom. Cook, 2001. Wright, 2019a. This suggests that the strict separation of languages belongs to the 20th century, while the 21st century will see the deliberate and systematic use of both languages in the classroom. For example, a PowerPoint slide may present both languages on the screen, using the same content but using a different font or different color, arranged systematically so that students can easily understand using one language or both. Welsh Language Board, 2001. Translanguaging in a mainstream classroom with deaf students occurs when deaf students follow a talk through. Special attention needs to be paid to the continuous evolution and progression of the minority language in bilingual schools. This is due to the typically lower status of the minority language, the Anglophone nature of much mass media, and the dominance of common denominator majority languages outside the school. Such bilingual schools can considerably develop the minority language learnt at home so that it has more uses and potentially can be used in more domains, e.g. reading, writing, preparation for employment. The child's use of the home language is raised to a much higher level of complexity, communication, competence and confidence. The school will widen vocabulary, deepen meanings, teach conventional syntax and help with the standardization of the minority language, e.g. new terminology in information technology. The school also gives the minority language status, esteem and market value to its students.
Bilingual schools must deliver highly effective education for students, not just on language dimensions but also on other areas where various stakeholders want success. Mehisto, 2012. Even if the school is excellent at language maintenance and language revitalization, its justification for students, parents, public and politicians ultimately derives from it being a form of holistically effective education. While social justice and equity can be a colorful flag to wave for bilingual schools, their success in developing each child academically as well as linguistically, cognitively and as citizens, as contributors to the economy as well as to a community, requires a bilingual school to deliver the multiple and complex agenda of education and schooling. While this section concentrates on language issues, all the attributes of effective schooling are relevant to bilingual schools. There are elements that make all types and models of bilingual education more or less effective. Mehisto and Genesi, 2015. While dual language policies, provision and practices are a keystone of such schools, effectiveness reaches far beyond language. Teacher professional development can be designed to help all staff members effectively serve all students. For example, professional development programs can sensitize teachers to students' language, cultural and racial backgrounds, increase their knowledge of second language acquisition, and help develop effective curriculum approaches in teaching language minority students. De Mejia and Ellert, 2015. All teachers can be trained to recognize themselves as teachers of language, irrespective of their subject area. The mentoring of new teachers by more expert and experienced teachers can be valuable. Such initial and in-service staff development may include student, community and wider societal awareness programs. Models and curriculum approaches to bilingual education, cultural diversity, and the politics that surround local and regional implementation of education for bilinguals. Caballero, 2014. Fillmore and Snow, 2018, indicate particular teacher competencies that bilingual, and all, teachers need, based on their multiple roles as classroom communicators, educators, evaluators, citizens and socializers. They suggest that teachers need to know the basics of language form, e.g. phonemes, morphemes, regularity, lexicon, structure, dialects, academic English, spelling, and not just language functions and uses.
Martin Jones, 2000, surveyed 3 decades of research on such interactions between students, and between students and teachers. She observed that bilingual classroom talk is best understood within the context and traditions of that school and class. Such situations provide clues and cues for expected and allowable patterns of talk. For example, code switching by the teacher may be used to signal the start of a lesson or a transition in the lesson, to specify an interaction with a particular student, or to move from teaching content to classroom management. Children also initiate code switching in the classroom, and have an influence on a teacher's use of 2 or more languages, and particularly the languages used in small group work and conversations with other students. The student's choice of which language to use and when tends to be reasonably regular and patterned and will reflect 1. The teacher's declared preference and management of languages, 2. A student's and peer group's proficiency or choice, or 3. A negotiation between teacher and child. A teacher's language choice tends to be more child-centered in the early years of schooling, for example when explanations, clarifications and checks on understanding are needed with young children, e.g. language minority children in mainstream, language majority classes.